everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Breaking News. I'm Julie Roginsky here with Michelle Kinney and Jeff Jarvis. Breaking the news is exactly what happened this week, you guys. It's as Donald Trump commanded. Guess what's broken? Irretrievably so. I guess we have no choice but to start with the big elephant in the room. Our friends at 60 Minutes. I mean, I got to give Scott Pelley credit. Mm-hmm. If you're going to go out, hey, man, I've done it. If you're going to go out in a blaze of glory. You got to do what he did. I mean, it's fascinating because Scott Pelley did what good journalists should do, which is he cross-examined the subject of one of the biggest news stories of the year, not the decade, which is that CBS News has been completely hijacked by a bunch of MAGA sycophant acolytes doing everything Donald Trump wants because they want the approval for the merger between Warner Brothers Discovery and Paramount Skydance to go through. They want to control CNN. They want to control HBO. They want to control the Warner Studios. It will make Paramount, which is a small drop in the bucket compared to all of those properties, obviously very powerful. It'll make the Ellisons, I guess, the new Murdochs. Is how they're thinking about it.
I call them the mini Murdochs.
Yes. They're about to be the more than mini Murdochs if this goes through.
With bad work.
And yeah. And
well, that much money, I just can never understand. I was like, why do you look so bad?
Because no one tells them. It looks
right.
bad.
Everyone's afraid. They're like,
yeah,
sir. Yeah.
And so they should go see Dr. Stephen Levine. So what I don't understand is that's the plastic surgeon who did all the Kardashians. Jeff, not because Michelle and I have gone to see Dr.
No need.
But well, thank you. Right answer, what a gentleman. But anyway, so the point is that they are doing everything they can to placate Trump, and that includes assassinating 60 Minutes, which I know we've had disagreements about the show on this show. I love 60 Minutes. I think it is of value and has been. Like everything else, it's got its drawbacks, obviously, but pound for pound, I think it is the best show on television. News show on television, and except for maybe PBS NewsHour, but love it. And I just have to. Well, first I want to get your thoughts on this, but then the one thing I'll end with is Leslie Stahl, John Wertheimer. Like, what are you guys doing? Why are you still playing footsie with these people? Just go in a blaze of glory. Goodbye, Leslie Stahl. You're 80,000 years. I mean,
locking arms together.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be more powerful and more meaningful because why put off the inevitable? Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that the goal is simply to destroy 60 Minutes, to take away anything that it ever was. It's not to change it. It's not to update it. It's not to even put it in their mold. It is retribution. It is Trump's retribution. To poke it in the heart and pull out the guts.
Yep.
And the people who were there, the stars, the moneyed stars, Bill Whitaker, Leslie Stahl, John Wertheim, have no choice whatsoever but to leave. As you say, what are they waiting for?
Right.
And meanwhile, the coverage of this in some quarters is really striking me as odd. The New York Times, I think it was, did an interview with Barry Weiss. So she speaks. I don't really need to hear from her. I don't think that's where you're treating her as if she's a legitimate player.
Yeah.
And then there's Dylan Byers. And I think Dylan Byers does some good interviews and he gets some good scoops. But from the beginning, he has been sucking up to Barry Weiss in what I presumed was a case of access.
Or a job.
Or job, right?
I mean,
That's true.
Chris Aliza went nuts. I don't know if you saw this. Chris Aliza has been fired from every gig he's ever had.
It's amazing he ever got hired in any job he ever had that he got fired from.
But he went nuts on Scott Pelley about how this was unseemly, and I'm like, dude, just why don't you post your resume on the CBS portal? Because that's what you're doing. You're desperate to get back on TV, having been bounced from everywhere else. And so what are you doing? You're obviously trying to get back on air, and that's what you're doing.
But isn't that the brand of this moment that we're living in, is like all these people who have been sort of discarded, and they're like C, D, E list people who never would have gotten a job in a White House. They never would have gotten a job in politics. They never would have gotten a job on TV. They never would have been running CBS News. And yet here they are doing all of those things, playing house. And like, that's just.
It's time for Chris Cuomo's comeback, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So a few things about Byers before we leave him. The headline today said that he said, and I quote, Scott Pelley's self-mythologizing tantrum and subsequent firing, right? So he's diminishing it. He had a podcast the other day, can Barry fix 60 Minutes? That's not the question at all. That's missing the point entirely. Her goal is to destroy it.
Yeah.
And on the podcast, his co-host, Julia, whose name I'm suddenly forgetting, asked, maybe I misheard it, but I don't think I did, in an aside, wondering whether Tim Pool would be hired by 60 Minutes. The craziest of crazy. And Russian paid, right?
Oh my God.
And so
and refuses to remove his winter beanie.
It's beyond credulity. It's playing along another way. Now, I don't want to, everybody in media has to, as I tell my students, every single source of revenue causes conflict. And it is our job as journalists to deal with that conflict, and you cannot erase it. Whether it's advertisers or if your subscription is now your primary support, the New York Times is now in a different relationship because of that. Or if it's philanthropy, or God help us if it's government. No, any source of revenue brings conflict and we deal with it. But I do have to note that Paramount is advertising on Dylan Byers' podcasts.
Well.
And Paramount, who, by the way, is also producing the show for the extreme fighting on the White House lawn. So Paramount is not a media player. Paramount is not a media company. It is a political entity now. And we've got to treat it that way, including its political actors, Barry Weiss and company. And the rest of the media are, as usual, clueless about how their institution is being manipulated and used.
Yeah. And, the part that I think is just appalling about this is that this is the new paradigm now, right? Like they're trying to prop up Dylan Byers because Oliver Darcy over at Status is getting
just the best.
And
absolutely.
And just, he's fantastic without fear or favor, doing a great job.
Yeah. Worth every penny of that subscription. I know I keep saying that, but
it's expensive for people who want to subscribe. It's not cheap, but if
it's worth it.
We rarely recommend you spending your money, but worth it, very worth it. And I part of this I think is he's just Dylan Byers. I think these people are all frustrated. They're all journalists, right? So what is the biggest prize? 60 Minutes. And if you could get on 60 Minutes, we'll do anything.
But can't they see that it's beschmutzed permanently, that to be associated with it?
It's again like the moment that we're living in, where all of these people who don't belong in these places, they're like, we're past a point of earning anything. We're past a point of like being talented or smart enough to have a certain job or a certain role on a TV show or like whatever it is. Like everyone's just gonna like do it now. They're going to be handed this because they did the right thing or they rubbed elbows with the right person. It's like Trump putting his name on the outside the Kennedy Center. Yeah. Like it's, because the Kennedy Center is a shell of what it once was. All the people who made the Kennedy Center, this wonderful place for arts and culture, doesn't exist anymore. And so just because you put your name on it doesn't mean that you also now are a part of that. You know what I mean? Like it's now just a shitty version of it. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean,
I felt that sigh, Jeff. I felt it.
What's interesting to me is the back and forth, right? Because typically one side says their piece and then the other side says their piece and everybody kind of goes their separate ways. Here, Scott Pelley keeps responding, which I think is great.
Yeah.
He clearly has made a decision. I forgot how old he is, in his late 60s, early 70s. I apologize, Scott Pelley, if you're on the younger side of that equation. But he has clearly made a decision.
68. You're fine.
68. Okay. Is to not let any of this go.
Yep.
Not apologize for anything, to not allow them to get away with one lie.
And he just put out another update on the meeting that he had with them,
right,
to say that he asked them question after question after question. They wouldn't answer any of his questions. And they said, the meeting's over now. That's it.
Well,
the one thing that I wish Scott Pelley would do, which I haven't seen yet unless you've seen it, is that in his departure, he made reference to Barry Weiss trying to get him to put falsehoods in his reporting. And I think we need those receipts. I think we need to know what she was asking for. Even though I think he said that he didn't do it and didn't end up in the air. I don't care. I want to know what flag she's raising, whose water is she carrying, in what ways. We need to know that as journalism critics.
Well, and I think the other piece of this too, that, to the point of, just because there's new people at 60 Minutes doesn't mean that they have earned 60 Minutes. But Scott Pelley is someone who did. And Scott Pelley was the furniture. Like, he was part of the legacy of this. And he's earned the people's trust over the years in a way that these other people haven't. And like, I wonder if people will trust the institution in the name of 60 Minutes before they'll trust. I mean, I don't think so, because I think the average person who watches 60 Minutes is probably smart enough to know the difference. And we'll look at somebody like Scott Pelley, not to say that he's Walter Cronkite, but like, in that, in the spirit of Walter Cronkite, of these people who are trusted truth tellers that have come into their living rooms for the past however many years, saying out loud, this is wrong, these people are wrong, this is bad. And that's why it's, I'm sure it's bothering them to the point that like I don't know if they weren't expecting this or what.
I think they were expecting it. I think this was the goal. This is the aim. They have heads on a pike. And Julie, you've talked about this in the past. There already is a Fox News. So it doesn't make much sense to create another Fox News. Yeah.
Like,
and it's not as if anybody who watches if you do watch 60 Minutes, the odds are you're on the left.
See, but I do have a caveat to that, right? Okay. Which is, yes, there's not, and this is a very kind of Russian way to think about this, right? There's already a Fox News. But if everything becomes Fox News, if every source of information that you receive becomes Fox News, then ultimately there's no other reality. Yep. And if you say, well, I don't watch Fox News, that's a little too much. Right. But I heard it on CBS. Or I heard it on 60 Minutes, which of course still has an impeccable reputation, because most people I don't think are following, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think most people are following this the way that we are. And so it's the summer, 60's on hiatus. Yeah. Nobody's expecting to. They're seeing reruns. And next season, they're going to see
interviews that Barry books
together, but it's going to be like, I'll tell you who's going to be in 60 Minutes. Mark my words. It's going to be, what's his name, who did the Netanyahu interview. Who used to be a Fox. Why am I blanking on his name?
Major.
Yeah, Major. It's going to be Major, right? It's not going to be like crazies. It's not going to be Joe Rogan, despite what everybody's, I don't think, right?
Okay.
No, I know. But yes, I know what you're saying. But it's not going to be guys like that, because I don't think they're that stupid. I mean, maybe they are that stupid. But it's going to be people like Major Garrett. And Major Garrett is going to be forced, or he's just going to know, in the way that we all knew at Fox what you can say and what you can't say. I mean, I was the exception because I was paid.
It was your job to say what they wouldn't say.
But everybody at Fox, like everybody thinks Roger Ailes at Fox would give people talking points. And the reality is they did give some people talking points. The morning show had the talking points come down. But everybody else didn't need to be told what to say or not. Exactly. They just knew. And maybe Garrett, I don't mean to single him out. Maybe he's not going to be there. But, whoever it's going to be is going to know that there are certain things you can't say. For instance, you can't criticize Benjamin Netanyahu. Why? Because Barry Weiss loves Benjamin Netanyahu, right? And so, like, you can't criticize Donald Trump because or you have to be balanced about it. Like January 6th, there'll be a balance.
There's good people on both sides.
Yeah, there's good people on both sides. Exactly. So that's what I'm talking about. So it's not going to be Fox News where like everybody's just like Trump all the time. Well, but that's what I'm saying. That's
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And part of that is the disinformation the newspeak of having Tony DeCopel praise Scott Pelley. Right. Well,
right.
see,
but don't you think that was performative nonsense?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I was like, I don't trust this.
No.
Yeah.
No, not at all. There was a way to say, see, we don't have anything
Yeah,
against him. It's just he's a tantrum thrower, but no, we're okay.
Right.
Yeah. But I'll come back to my usual refrain. Mass media are dead. They don't know it. And I'm of the belief that in general, they don't matter anymore. They think they do. But I think what the Ellisons did was, I don't think they bought it to think that they were going to make it into something. I think they bought it in a retributive fashion to kill the things Trump didn't like and to get the deals that they wanted for their business side. And they don't give a damn about the value of that asset. It's not an asset to them.
Which is like the scariest part about it. I mean, like when you have really, really, really rich people buying something that is that powerful and then not caring if they make or lose money on that, like that's somebody literally with nothing to lose.
Well, that's where we are with the Washington Post too.
Right.
And I put out this post this week asking, where are the other Scott Pelleys? And there have been some. There were columnists who got fired from the Washington Post who spoke up at the time. Is there anyone, this is a dumb question, but I'll ask it. Is there anyone in the New York Times who's questioning their bad judgment? Do they have the courage to? Do they have the opening to? What are they doing? And the New York Times has a policy that you can't criticize the New York Times publicly if you work at the New York Times. That's wrong. That's journalistically wrong.
Yeah.
I've told the story here before that I gave up a lot of money when I left Time Inc. because I wouldn't sign the shut up clause.
Yeah.
And 3 years, salary, bonus, and benefits. It still stings. And so where are the journalists who are standing up for journalism? You've been asking this, Julie, about Bruce Springsteen in music. I think we need to ask the same question about the journalists to stand up and question all of this. And even if you're not at CBS.
I have a column coming out on this, by the way. How nice that you said this, but okay, go ahead.
Tell us more.
Well, you'll have to read it, but it's effectively what you said. Like, where are the Scott Pelleys, and more relevantly, when we know that they're about to acquire CNN. It's going to be either next month or it's going to be September, but like the deal's coming. And it's going to be tied up in the courts potentially because of what's going on in California. But the reality is they're taking over. You had Kara Swisher publicly say that she will not stay at CNN and work for the Ellisons. Great. Congratulations, Kara Swisher. She's got a lot of options in life. She's got a lot of
she's got tons of bucks.
Yeah. A lot of shit going on.
I do enjoy her.
Okay.
Okay.
But the point is, like, she's got other options, right? But for example, Scott Pelley apparently had a year left on his contract, right? So he dared them to fire him. And the question is now, I guess, whether they're going to go to court and whether they're just going to agree to pay him out for the year with a non-compete clause, or whether they have to go to court or whatever it is. But the point is, they didn't, as opposed to Leslie Stahl, who apparently is working without a contract at the moment. And this I know a little bit something about. You probably do too, Jeff. But Fox, I'm probably violating my NDA by saying this, but screw it. Like Fox, I filed my lawsuit in April. My contract ran out in June. And so I left. But the point is, I still had to show up to work every day. I guess Fox could have agreed to just buy out the remainder of my contract for 3 or 4 months, but they made me come to work, which is fine. I did it. They would cancel on me at the very last second every time to make sure that I had to pay my babysitter. But that's great. Thank you. But my point is, Scott Pelley. I got Suzanne Scott on the brain, who's the head of Fox News. Scott Pelley had a year left. Anderson Cooper just signed a new deal at CNN.
Knowing what was coming.
Knowing what was coming. So Anderson Cooper went out on a blaze of glory at CNN, and apparently as a result of CBS, as a result of him going down on a blaze of glory, I suspect that's part of the reason that Tanya Simon lost her job, because she allowed that to go on air.
Well, certainly the other and two other people did as a result too.
Right.
But I always picture who was the executive running down the hall being like, stop.
Probably
You know?
nobody. Probably
Yeah.
nobody knowing Tanya Simon. I don't think she did. I think she was like, he wants to say this,
Yeah.
let him say it.
No, I mean like her saying
Was
yes
Barry-
to that.
Barry
but
Weiss
was there
running
anyone
the
Barry
above
Weiss.
her?
Yeah.
And then like locking the door.
Well,
No.
the question is, did Barry Weiss have advance notice of this, or did she turn on 60 Minutes like the rest of us and see it? I mean, that's probably where she was pissed off about. That is, I suspect she probably did not know that it was going to happen. And I'll find out. But what I do want to know is who at CNN right now is working without a contract, or is in the process of renegotiating their contract, because most of these things begin, 6 months to a year before the contract expires, and every contract is different in that you can't look for a new job except in like a 2-month window before. I mean, they really weight it towards the company, not towards towards the talent. But I hate the word talent, so I'm sorry for using it. Not towards the on-air people.
Agreed.
Yeah. But I also will say that I can almost predict who's going to be sucking up to Barry Weiss at CNN and who's not. Right? Like we know. Like Erin Burnett's not going to put up with that shit. I'll tell you that. She's wonderful and I really like her. I don't know her at all, but I really like her.
Yeah, she seems awesome.
Yeah, like Anderson Cooper, interesting. I mean, if I'm Anderson Cooper, do I say to them what Shep Smith effectively said to Fox, which is, I want out.
Yeah.
I will sign a no compete for the duration of my contract. In Anderson Cooper's case, that could be 3 years or however long his deal is. Which is why it's kind of crazy that he signed it, but we don't know.
I know. I think it's weird.
Well, we don't know the details of the contract.
Yeah.
And Anderson Cooper, again, does not need this shit. He doesn't need it.
No.
Anderson Cooper could go on YouTube tomorrow and probably
make up $1 bajillion.
Let me ask you just a contractual. You're not a lawyer and don't play one on television, but if Anderson Cooper said, I can't take this, I'm just quitting and I'll forego the rest of my contract, does he have that right, or is he bound?
He's bound.
Let me. You would guess based on how these things normally work. Yeah.
He's Anderson Cooper, so he might have a whole different gig, right? Like let's not confuse Julie Roginsky and Anderson Cooper, right? Like, but I think at a minimum it would be okay. Fine, forego all your money and no compete for the duration of his contract.
Even so.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. I mean, they don't want him going, to ABC or somewhere else tomorrow. Like why would they do that? It's not in their interest.
I hate non-competes. I think they're so awful.
They're
awful.
They're very, very, very well. In fairness, on TV, like of course you have a non-compete because then if you're on CNN, you can't go to MSNBC and juggle both, right? Like
well, not at the same time, but if you leave one and they're like, oh, you can't go on TV for 3 years, like screw you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, listen, there's so much about TV that's wrong. Which
I know it's.
I'm so glad I'm not there anymore. But look, I think what you're dealing with is an interesting situation where CBS is the test case for what's coming on CNN.
Oh yeah.
And there's no excuse for anybody at CNN. I mean, I could see them all sitting there waiting, biding their time, waiting how things play out. But and I've had, and so have you, Jeff, and so have you, Michelle, for that matter. We've all had a habit of walking away from pretty lucrative careers because we got pissed off. But most people are not like that. And so it's not like I'm sitting here waiting for a mass exodus. But, nobody watches CNN anyway. Like they're touting. It's hilarious. I saw the numbers that came out. Did you see this? I just want to point this out.
Right? No one watches it.
Well, it's beyond that, right? So I forgot where I saw it. It might have been Oliver Darcy, but I forgot where, hold on. I just think it's hilarious. Basically all of these, all the big cable companies touted their year-over-year growth because there's so much going on here, obviously for obvious reasons. And what I think is so fascinating is that CNN reported the 7-day window, Monday through Sunday.
Yes.
And it was like, I forgot what the number was. And then MS and Fox reported Monday through Friday prime time, which was exponentially larger. So despite the fact that CNN is including their 7-day window and the others are including their 5-day window, they're still fractionally
Well, did you see the other story about DeCopel's ratings?
Yes.
That this is great that they said, oh, he's back above 4 on average. But what they did was they coded the Friday show, with it, which they said is a normal trick. Other people do it. Usually if the anchor's gone, you don't want to have that part of the average. So, but they coded his Friday show, which was low, did NWS instead of NEWS, so it wouldn't get counted. And that's what enabled him to go over 4 million, but it wasn't over 4 million. It was a lie.
Yeah, it was a total lie. Total lie. So, I mean, this is
that's so embarrassing. Like, why, you know what I mean? Like, just lying about it and then just getting, I don't know. I guess I have a little bit more, I don't know. I could be shamed about these things. Other people can't, but I just think it's so embarrassing.
In any case, it speaks to how unimportant it is. 1% of the country.
Right.
It doesn't matter. It's 1% of the country.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's fascinating because I think especially, here I'll quote Roger Ailes, he was very smart about saying that people like authenticity, right? Like the TV, we always would say the TV doesn't lie. Like everybody talks about the TV adds 10 pounds, but that's not what he was talking about, although he definitely did not want you adding 10 pounds. He was very much about how the TV, like you can't lie to the TV. Like the camera can discern who you are.
Yeah, camera doesn't lie, right?
Yeah, and the camera doesn't lie. And he was right about that. And what is fascinating to me is that for the Sunday, not the Sunday morning shows, but for the evening shows, the newscasts every night, like these are people coming into your living room who are figures of authority, in way, shape, or form. And, it doesn't matter. Like I used to be Peter Jennings' person when I was growing up. Other people were Tom Brokaw person. Other people were Dan Rather person.
Huntley Brinkley.
But my point is, like, everybody had their guy they watched. Right? In my family, we watched.
I feel like I was a Dan Rather person, like as a kid. You know what I mean?
That's interesting because I would feel like I was cheating on Peter Jennings if I turned the camera. Like I literally felt like I was like as a 12-year-old, like having an extramarital affair with like Tom Brokaw. If I were to suddenly
Peter Jennings is Canadian, right?
Yeah, like I felt guilty. Like I felt guilty if like cheating on Peter Jennings, which is interesting. But the point is, all three of them, I think, were figures of authority, but very different personalities in many different ways. Here you have same thing, right? You've got David Muir, who my husband is obsessed with.
Very good looking man. Who went to Ithaca, I just want to say, and he's from Syracuse. So
okay.
I'm like upstate represent. So
okay. And then Tom Yamas, who I know because I do a show once in a while, and I love that guy. He's the nicest guy in the world. Very different people, very different personalities, but I think have something to offer on both sides. I don't watch any of this, to be honest, but like I am stuck watching it because my husband always watches David Muir. You gotta watch David Muir. And so
can I just say something? Do you ever notice how David Muir puts his hands on the table and they don't move, and it's like very posed? Do you ever notice this?
Have you ever noticed that he speaks like this, Michelle? He enunciates every single word without sounding like he's got a stick up, you know what? Because he always has an expression that he's a little pained.
I mean,
always very.
Maybe he is.
Having just spent 3 days in a airless studio recording my book, I should have been doing that because I don't do that well enough. I had to re-record a lot of words that I muffed.
Yeah. Wow. Well, you should listen to David Muir because David Muir speaks like this. And if we all spoke, spoke like this, perhaps we would be anchoring the ABC Nightly News with David Muir. Thank you, Michelle. That's every time. Thank you, Michelle. It's always thanks to anchors. It's very performative. Anyway, Tom Yamas, I think, is a little bit more casual, a little bit more folksy. I like him a lot. I just like him as a person.
Yeah.
But then you get to Tony DeCopel, whose lovely wife I ran into in the green room the other day. Like, who's this clown? Like, seriously, who is this clown? And I think once you're perceived as a clown by the people, there's no coming back from that. You can survive as a clown on cable news. Like there's a place for him at Fox News tomorrow if he wants it. Like everybody,
which is probably the only way out.
Right. But or CNN eventually when they take over CNN,
right.
when there's own show at CNN, which nobody will watch, and God bless. But on these shows, I think on nightly news shows, nobody wants a clown. Like people allow you into your bed, into their bedroom.
They want to hear what's going on, like
Yeah.
what's going on in the world. Like I was going through, because I'm working on this other video, which I'll show you guys at another time. Is some old clips from the news and stuff, and I found some clips of like Connie Chung and I found Peter Jennings reporting on the wall coming down, and Connie Chung was, sitting in for Dan Rather, and like I loved Connie Chung, and all these people, to your point, like they were authority figures. Like if you wanted to know what was going on in the world in like the most serious way, these are the people that you went to. And even if it was only like the first 10 or 15 minutes, and then after that, it was like some other, human interest piece or something like that, you got like the top line stuff, the stuff that you really needed to know about. And I can't tell you the last time I turned on the 6:30 news.
No, and I can't stand the grammar of the institution. Even 12 hours after something has happened, police tonight are...
Yeah.
Right. The tense of television news is that it's such a cliche, and they know it because they write to the cliche, but they're afraid to break it.
Well, it's interesting because again, I had not watched nightly news since Peter Jennings. Probably, I take that back, since I left home at 18. Right. Like
my friend used to work for Peter Jennings, and she said that he was like the most wonderful, lovely person.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So, but anyway, the point is like when I was, I left home in 1991, that was probably the last time I watched the evening news. And then I got married and suddenly I went back to having to watch the evening news. So I've noticed there's a lot that's changed. They have really dumbed it down. So there's at least 2 weather stories.
Yep.
And then the back half, like everything, basically they have the A block and the B block, and the B block or the A block very often is a weather story.
Yep.
Like there's hurricanes in the Midwest today. Well, okay, like I'll watch the Weather Channel, but people it must rate off the charts, which is why people why they do it. And then the second, like the CDE is all interest stories, like American Hero.
Yeah.
Jeff Jarvis today saved 15 chickens from a coyote. Like let's go to Jeff Jarvis.
Unless it's Steve Hartman, I'm just kind of like, eh.
Yeah, and then basically right, and then Jeff Jarvis is like, thanks, David Muir. I just saved 15 coyotes or 15 chickens for coyotes. You're an American hero. Yay. Like,
And then the end has to be the soccer playing dog.
Yes, there's always dogs. Yep.
Right,
And my
it has to be
husband,
the
soccer.
and my husband, can I tell you something? You're so right. And my husband falls for it every time. He's like, David Muir must really love dogs. He loves dogs. And my husband loves dogs. So he's like, look at David Muir. He must really love dogs. I'm like, and I don't want to break his heart. I'd be like, the dogs just rate really well. I actually don't know if David Muir cares about the dogs. But well, hey, people buy it. I'm living with it.
I mean, again, like, I mean, how long have I been watching Steve Hartman do these like human interest stories? Like somebody from everyone has a story or something like that. I mean, like I remember watching him years ago, and I still watch him to this day, and I think he's the best at it. Than he's better than anybody.
Yeah.
And he just won an Oscar. God bless. But like, I'm. It's all just very depressing. I don't know how else to say it. Like, it's just depressing.
Well, I think we're concentrating on this so much because it's the apotheosis of what's happening, but it's true everywhere. I mean, to just hit another couple of things this week, the White House Correspondents Dinner rescheduled.
Oh my God, I know.
Can they not think for 2 seconds?
Nobody wants this.
What the hell? Nobody wants this except I think Trump, so he can go beat up on them.
Oh, yeah. No. I think they want it. I think this is a highlight of their social calendar.
Oh, you mean the White House?
Oh, they want it. Yeah, but nobody in the sane world wants it. Nobody else wants this.
Oh,
but to get another dress.
You guys, they live for this shit. I cannot begin to describe to you how excited everybody Fox used to.
Do you think Substack will have another party?
No, fuck Substack. You know what? Don't.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm like kind of kidding, but kind of not. Yeah.
But my point is, like, it's fascinating to me because you've got this insanity of the White House Correspondents Dinner, and it's not just people like Fox or whatever. Like I remember at MSN, it's MS. It's
all of them. Yeah.
All of them. And they love it. And it's a networking opportunity. And they get to go there and they get to judge each other's dresses and they get to hang out with important people and they get pictures of celebrities and they get pictures
and feel important.
And they feel important.
Yes.
And
inside. They are inside.
They're on the inside. And let me tell you something. I am friends with half these people and the stuff that I see on Facebook the next day of them like, here's me, my best friend. It's like somebody from MSNBC and somebody from Fox. This is my best friend, Fox anchor. And ours is like, it's basically sending a message to their agents and to their network. They have other options, like all of it. It is so.
I know I come from a different world than you, but like, this is what like the Tonys are like, which are, by the way, are on Sunday. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's like everybody wants to be there. If you're not there, you got to be at the parties. If you're at the parties, are you taking pixtures with the right people? Are you posting it on Instagram? Does your agent see it? It's like, oh my God. Oh my God. It's exhausting. And maybe, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
No, I was gonna say just maybe like I'm just at an age now, like with that stuff specifically, like from that world, I was so desperate to want to be in the room. Like, I mean, I think one of the last big Tony parties that I went to was Book of Mormon. I was at the Tony party that night.
That's a good one.
That was a good one. That was a good one. I have lots of good pictures with Neil Patrick Harris and stuff. And and it's because they're the 50th anniversary of Book of Mormon. They're doing at the Tonys this year. And I saw because I know some of the cast and they're all, rehearsing and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, that was 15 years ago. Jesus Christ. And I was like, my life has changed so much since then. I do different work now. And it's like, and I have to say in the beginning of me coming into this world, I felt desperately, I wanted to be in those rooms with those people. How do I go to the White House Correspondents Dinner? I want to go to the parties. And in the last few years, like, I mean, obviously, I get it now, and I'm like, oh, this is all bullshit. Just a different flavor of bullshit.
Well, it's what Julia said about CNN.
Yeah,
is that there was a time when I wanted to be on CNN, and there's a reflex inside me still when I see somebody on who I think is a bad guest. I'm thinking, oh, I could have done that. No, stop it, Jeff, stop. Right?
I get it.
Why? Because I don't care.
That's so funny that you say this, you guys, because I see people on CNN, and I'm like, well. I don't really watch CNN anymore. I watch Erin Burnett. I take that back. I think she's excellent. I see people on CNN and I'm thinking, wow, have you guys not figured out what a fucking waste of time this is?
Okay. I know I've said this to you, Julie, and I think you know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to say her name, but there is a host from CNN that I saw at a women's event last year at a private women's event in an apartment on the Upper West Side. And we were all in this big circle and it was like, people from all walks of life, like, big shots, we're all talking about, how can we help each other? Like, how are we going to get out of this? And, and we were talking about independent media and how important it is that we start to invest in independent media and independent voices and stuff. And she chimes up and she goes, well, she's like, I just want people to be careful because, we have, the resources and we have the fact checkers and we have this. And it was extremely dismissive.
The platform's a certain liar all the time on her show. And so I don't know why.
Extremely dismissive. And I have never forgotten it. That was my first impression.
I'm so used to this going back to the days of as I was an early blogger. And the journalist saying, do you want a citizen surgeon? Who wants a citizen journalist? This is ridiculous.
Can I just say something to you? If Scott Jennings were ever to come on this show, which of course he never will because he's not welcome. But if Scott Jennings were ever to come on this show.
It could be the law soon. We'll have to take him, but yeah.
Well, yeah. Yeah, exactly. But if he opened his mouth and he started lying, even 1/20th, the way he lies on Abby Phillips' show every night. I would pull the plug. The plug, not because I can't counter his lies, but because I don't want to waste my time giving him a platform where it looks like we are equal in what we're saying. One of us is telling the truth and one of us is lying, and I'm not going to waste my time having a he said, she said discussion about whether the earth is round or flat. Like one person says the earth is round and one person says the earth is flat. We're going to have a fair and balanced debate. No, we're not. And The fact that they platform him makes them the fucking losers.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's the reverse of Nick Bilton. If
We're,
you're supposedly a good guy, you take the weasel job, you're the weasel.
yeah. And
You
by
can't
the way,
act like you're a part of this now.
right.
And same is true on the other end. If you have your show and you give it to weasels, then you become a weasel.
And if you are like, who's the surgeon with the scalpel now, my friend?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're allowing the crackpot Robert F. Kennedy Jr. mentality to affect your hospital room. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is not welcome in this hospital, but you're welcoming his equivalent in your hospital.
Right.
Right. Right. So I don't want to hear that shit. Like, I don't want to hear it. If you platform these people, I don't want to hear it.
Well, you know, it's funny. You were saying, Jeff, something about citizen journalists, and if you're watching this, and maybe you're following along with the Americans with us, I mentioned as part of the history, because we talk about when the show aired in 2013, and we're coming up on the couple episodes where the week of the Boston Marathon bombing. And I remember sitting in my little studio apartment when all that was going on, when they were on the manhunt trying to find whomever it was that did this. It was the citizen journalists that were on the ground breaking the stories first. And I remember I had a little police scanner. I was like, listen to my police scanner. And it was like, I mean, it was exciting kind of like in that kind of way, like trying to, solve the puzzle. But I remember that kind of being the first time that I noticed this. And on Twitter, like there was people on social media telling the story in real time. And it got a lot of flack from legacy media, obviously, because they're like, you didn't, put these stories through lawyers and fact check. You didn't have all the sources and stuff. And I'm like, I get it. I get what they mean, but I don't know. Like I once that happened, and everybody's got one of these now. I don't know where my phone is, but a phone. Everyone's got one.
You don't know
right?
where your phone is? Like,
I know.
I would be
Here it is.
mute.
Here it is.
Okay,
Here
good.
it is. My brand
I
new
was
phone.
worried
I
for
just
you
got
there,
it.
Michelle.
But yeah, like everybody's got one of these now. And so anybody has, a platform, which is a good thing and a bad thing, right? So it's about, and this is another thing I was talking to Julie about yesterday or today about the, there was a creator I saw talking about this, and I apologize for not remembering her name to credit her, but so the credibility economy that's happening in the creator space and the independent media space right now, because it's oversaturated. There's a bajillion people. And for the longest time, it was like, how can I get attention? How can I get clicks? And it's becoming less about that now. And it's about building credibility, and it's about building trust with people, because if people tune in day after day after day and they get to know you, to Julie's point, right? But Roger Ailes says the camera doesn't lie. Well, I think in this case too, people can tell. And it's about building that relationship with your audience and being real with them and being authentic and being honest. And those people will come back over and over again.
And I have to say, like, Michelle and I did a show on Thursday that is getting a tremendous amount of blowback. And it's effectively about Graham Platner.
Yeah.
And why Democrats are being forced to make the same accommodations that Republicans had to make about Donald Trump, right? Well, at least he's not Hillary, right? Yes, he grabbed women by the pussy. And yes, he's been divorced 3 times, even though we're evangelicals and we're all about Jesus. And yes, he's lied and stealed and cheated and ran casinos into the ground.
And yes, he might be credibly accused by a 14-year-old of raping her.
Yeah.
But
you know what? At least he's not Hillary.
At least he's not Kamala.
Or he's not Kamala, right?
Either one.
Yeah. And by the time it was Kamala, like he'd already taken over the party. But I'm talking about in 2016, right?
Yeah. I mean, because this is before people knew about the Epstein stuff, or at least the public.
Right. And so there's a lot of blowback that we're getting on this. People are like, how dare you compare him to Trump? How dare, and my attitude is, bite me. Like, this is how I feel as a woman, and
you don't get to tell me.
And as a man, I want to hear what you say as a woman. I also want to hear what you say as a political strategist, both of you. What do we do?
Well,
this could be the difference between taking over the Senate and the courts for years ahead. How much do we compromise ourselves in this case?
I will say this, and this is Graham Platner's fault.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is Graham Platner's fault. It's not the women's fault who talked
Oh,
about
no.
it. It's not the people of Maine's fault. It's not anybody's fault but his, because he came forward knowing all this shit about himself and not being forthcoming about it. And then when he's been discovered, has some sort of bullshit lie about it, and it's his fault. This is his fault, and he should be blamed for it, instead of coming to women like us, telling us like, how dare you? And let me tell you, the women that were part of the comeuppance of Eric Swalwell, they have rescinded their endorsement of Graham Platner this evening. And they came and they were like, we thought he was great because he, economically, and I agree, ideologically, economically, all the things that I was like, hell yeah, this guy seems great, until he didn't. And what she said was that women should not be the sacrificial, whatever it is. Because it happens every time. And at some point it's got to stop. And if I'm fighting for, what am I fighting for then?
Right.
Yeah. What kind of country am I fighting for? That doesn't see me as a
well.
human
It's
being,
related to the other question that the party is going through, is how much they protect the black vote versus get more Democrats in office. Right? How much do you stand by women's rights and stand by what you mean, and how much do you say, well, we need the vote?
Well, listen, this is what I'm saying. Like, we're being put in an impossible situation here.
Yes.
I don't know what I would do if I lived in Maine. I mean, I think I'd vote for him, which kills me to say, because this this guy's got a Nazi tattoo on his chest, right?
Yeah, listen.
But to me, like, at least he's going to vote for a Democratic majority leader. And, if he were running for governor, I probably would think twice.
Like Lady or the Tiger or whatever. Right?
This guy, Adam Homily in central New Jersey, who just got elected despite being a former associate of the Blind Sheik. And people can evolve, and he's lived an exemplary life by all accounts ever since, but his excuse for why he hung out with the Blind Sheik does not pass mustard. And he doesn't talk about the fact that he heard this guy preach jihad against Jews. And his answer is, if you raise it, you're an Islamophobe. And I don't like that answer, because
I've been called that many times recently for standing up for my Jewish friends, which is really fun.
Right. Or if you didn't vote for Zohran Mamdani because maybe you think that free buses were always a bullshit promise, and you wanted somebody who, I don't know, maybe balanced a checkbook in his life.
Yeah.
You're an Islamophobe.
And I say I voted for Zohran Mamdani, but I was apprehensive at first, and I had questions. I was like, who is this guy? Like, why did he vote against the revenge porn thing in the assembly? Like, his voting record, I was like a little concerned about. And I had people coming at me being like, saying all kinds of things. Well, you're this and you're that. And I'm like, I have questions. Like, why can't I ask?
Having questions does not mean you're an Islamophobe, right? Like, if somebody hung out with Meir Kahane, who wanted to kill Palestinians and all Arabs in the Middle East, asking that question would not be anti-Semitic. Like, you're hanging out with a guy who is a terrorist.
Well, and I think a lot of this too, in both cases, it does show to Democrats' credit, to the credit of the left, that we struggle with this. The right doesn't struggle with
no. They have
flawed
there is
people.
no line.
I don't know if the left is struggling with this, because I think you've got a ton of people who are so self-righteous and so of the belief that they know better than the rest of us because we have fucked up the world. We're older. We've been in the party for too long. They're going to come and they're going to sweep this all away. And what you end up with is Graham Platner, right? Because, sorry, Bernie Sanders, I'm so happy that this guy agrees with you on universal health care. Me too. So glad he agrees with you on a living wage. Me too. Me too. But how about you vet somebody so you don't embarrass the party? And more importantly, even if this guy wins,
that's the thing, is like, they don't care if it embarrasses the party. They don't care.
Well, first of all, Bernie Sanders isn't even a Democrat. So
exactly. I know. Exactly.
The point is, like, what message are you sending to Jewish Americans who have been loyal Democratic, except for Black people? No other demographic group has voted Democratic more than Jewish Americans.
Mhm.
What message are you sending to them when you're excusing a guy having a totem cough on his chest for what, a decade, 2 decades?
Well, and Chris Hayes, I mean, as we are doing the show, just so people know, like we doing this the night before, Chris Hayes has Graham Platner on his show tonight. Now I'm not watching, so I don't know what the conversation was.
And then, I watched the beginning of it. And then Chris Hayes is on with Ali Velshi in the next hour talking about the same. So it's 2 hours of Platner. Platner's being discussed right now. And I don't have my text on, so I can't read it. Closed captions.
I'm not.
But they're making a whole big megillah out of it because it was an exclusive for Chris Hayes. It's flawed people in politics.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get stuck in this position.
Right.
You know, if you were a woman in Maine, what do you do?
Right. And one of my best friends lives in Portland, and I will call her tomorrow and ask her, you know, what do you think? You know, because she's going to be like, Jesus Christ. I mean, I know she's going to be like furious about this stuff. And, you know, but I think about when the Eric Swalwell stuff started to come out, like a few weeks before all of it broke, I started hearing rumblings about this. I'm like, I think he's going to have some problems. I called my dad about it, and he's like, well, let's hope not. And I was like, yeah, let's hope not. But like, I'm hearing stuff. And when the women started to come forward, that first story was at the San Francisco Chronicle, right? That first story that came out. I remember reading the comment sections, and it was reputable women. One of the Sharon Stone, who's like all about, you know, women's empowerment and everything. I feel like I saw something like Jill Wine-Banks or something had commented, and I was just like, what? Like, why is your instinct to protect this man who has all of these credible accusations of bad behavior? I mean, in our comment section, right after we got off air doing this thing about Graham Platner, one of the first comments was from a woman. Like, what do you mean his bad behavior? He was a jerk while he was drunk. And I'm like, oh, really? Let's read into this. You know, fantasies of rape, wanting to rape people. And it literally says rape means that you have power over someone, or that he referred to women as hatchet wounds, or another woman saying that he would be very rough with her to the point that he would leave bruises on her body. I mean, he never broke my arm, but
the part that I did watch of Platner was him denying anything physical. But that's, what does that say?
Right.
All right.
She said, well, he never punched me. And I'm like, if you have to say that.
This is a terribly naive question, but Janet Mills has said, I'm still on the ballot.
I mean, she is.
Is there a scenario in which he's forced to drop out and she wins the primary? And
I don't think he's
no. First of all,
not going to drop out.
He's dropping out. Second, there's ranked choice voting.
He's gonna.
I didn't know that. Okay.
He's gonna double, triple, quadruple down, just like the Republicans do, and like Trump does. It's very Trumpy.
Yes, absolutely right. And if he loses, watch as his supporters blame the rest of us for pointing this out.
2016, my friends.
Yeah, that we didn't fall in line. And I'll tell you right now,
Bernie would have won. Yeah.
Maybe Bernie would have won, but you know what? But Bernie didn't bring the baggage that this guy's bringing, right? There's a very good possibility that Bernie would have won, actually, to be honest, because Bernie was basically doing what Trump was doing, which is giving the middle finger to the establishment. That's what people want.
It's the perils of populism.
It's populism, right? But Bernie, as far as I know, at least, doesn't have, Bernie has the baggage, like he went to, Moscow for his honeymoon or whatever, but nobody gives a shit about that. But this guy the guy has a Nazi tattoo. That's not our fault. I didn't put that tattoo on his body. I didn't call the girl. I'm not the one.
It's the accumulation. If you did one stupid thing when you were drunk in the service,
right?
Okay, all right. Everybody can be reasonable and say, okay.
Yep.
But then add how long it was there. Then you add what was said about it. Then you add the women in, and it becomes it's carbon monoxide in the bloodstream, and it's cumulative.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing.
But I guess I'm still trying to say though, is that the Republicans don't care at all. I'm not trying to be virtuous about being Democrats. We are screwed up, but they don't have any problems with flawed people. They love flawed people because flawed people will do what they're told to do.
There was attack ads on about Ken Paxton running in Texas from some Republicans, and they took them down immediately because as soon as Ken Paxton became the nominee to be governor of Texas, they were like, well, we got to get behind our guy,
Right.
because Republicans fall in line and Democrats have to fall in love. And that's just been, the way it is. And I say this also, I mean, I spent 4 years working with former Republicans who became never Trump Republicans. And while ideologically and a lot of personality clashes maybe that I had with some of them, for the most, I had respect for what they did, because it was not a popular thing to do, and they lost all of their money, and they lost all of their friends and all of their contracts and all the people that they'd worked with and for. But they have said to me a million times, you cannot shame these people. They are beyond. You cannot. Don't even try.
No.
Don't try to explain anything. Just beat them, and that's all you have to do. You just have to beat them, and it becomes. And that's always been their thing. You just have to win. You just have to win. You just have to win. But look where we are now. And so, we just have to ask ourselves, like, I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what the answer is.
That's the question. Like, do we have to win? I mean, I would submit to you that, yeah, we have to win because what's at stake is too great. But my God, do we have to win with this guy? Like, the primaries are like, the Republicans could have beaten Hillary Clinton with somebody else. It did not need to be Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah.
Third term.
They probably easily could have.
It did not. It probably would have been less close, actually. So do we need to win with this guy? Like, do we need to win with this guy?
But then, devil's advocate, literally devil's advocate, the courts, the Supreme Court,
Right. I know.
women's issues, race issues.
No, we are.
I know. We get stuck with them. We get stuck, but it's a horrible position. And
Fear also, I mean, beyond the point that I just don't think he's a very good person, is the Fetterman of it all.
Well, exactly what I was going to say. Exactly.
Concerns me. Because, I mean, not to say I told you so, but like, I was one of the people being like, don't vote for John Fetterman, please. He is cosplaying working class.
Yep.
I come from working class America, and I'm telling you, that guy is a phony. He's a phony. And he got the nomination. And
if we attack him too hard, he will go Republican, and we lose that way.
Yep.
Because he's crazy.
Yeah, it's like, don't push him. Brian Schatz and Chuck Schumer were coming out being like, no, John Fetterman is a very good man. He's an honorable man. We all do. And I was just like, please. I know, because Brian Schatz is the whip, right? And he's he
also wants the vote for majority leader.
Yeah, he wants to be majority leader. If you look at who his hires have been in the last few years, I mean, there's been stories about it. He doesn't want to be asked about it. If you talk, he's like, la, la, la. But that's why he's all chummy with Chuck Schumer, and Chuck Schumer's been doing the same thing. And, oh no, John Fetterman, he's a lovely man. He's a very good man. He's a family man. And yeah, because they're all terrified that but he's not. I really don't think that, unless he's really so far gone, I really don't think that he's going to switch parties. He could go independent. But if he switches parties, then he loses his power. Yeah. Then he's just one of the bunch. But right now, he's on the other side. He gets more attention. He'll get more perks and all kinds of, it's the mansion sort of thing.
All right. Well, on that note, I got to run.
I got one more question here.
Yes.
Gotta ask.
Yes.
How's the new dog?
I met Maggie. Maggie's very cute.
You see this? Do you see?
Oh no!
You see this? These are little puppy teething.
I know.
This used to be an arm. Now it's become a puppy teething toy. I will have to get my house fumigated because she refuses to learn to be potty trained, and she barks like crazy. Other than that, she's very, very cute.
Are you thinking about the reformatory?
I did bring somebody in, like a typical person, decided to throw money at the problem. There's apparently not enough money to solve this particular problem. They wanted me to send her to some farm for a week or 2 weeks, where they promised that they would housebreak her. Then they quoted a price to me that I literally think I could send myself to a spa in Switzerland for less money. So that's not going to happen. So guess who's going to have to, I can't even go to the bathroom without having to pick this dog up and take her with me, because I'm worried that she's going to do something to my couch or to my furniture, to my carpets while I'm gone. And then I'm in the bathroom.
She's very cute though.
She's
when you see her run and her little feet go flying up in the air, and her ears are bigger than her whole face. Like, so cute. Very cute. Naughty. She's a naughty girl, and she hops. Yeah. And she's got these very fluffy ears, and my husband is ready to commit suicide because
we ask this in empathy. We really do.
Yeah.
But
other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, she's a very cute dog.
Yeah. How was the play?
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
So good to see everybody. See you all next week, and have a great rest of your week. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Go next.
Oh,
what?
Right after this.
Oh yeah. Stay here on the Media Network. We're going to have episode 10 of The Illegals, the Americans Rewatch podcast. It's right after this. So stick around.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.